It's your favorite YouTube dealer. I came across this track thanks to the homie J Hoop. It's called Ren Talking with Tony, but just listening to the very first few seconds, it seems like he's going to explain his thought process behind what art is and the process that goes into it. So I thought this would be pretty cool to get up on the channel. Let's dive in. Let's see what this one is all about.
So I think the main purpose of art, and like trying to simplify it as much as possible, is to create an empathy window. So just to create feeling, whether it's happiness, sadness, fear, or outrage, because life can be monotonous and it can be mundane, and it gives a little break inside that monotony. And I think the challenging thing for creators these days is that we live inside a time where people are both paradoxically completely hypersensitized to things and completely desensitized to things. And that's true because people are desensitized because once you've watched a film like Saw, right, and seen someone hack off their own leg with a blunt hacksaw, or if you've seen Two Girls, One Cup, which you should never watch if you've never seen it before, then you become, your tolerance for your own discomfort gets pushed higher. And filmmakers realise this, and so they become more bold and more daring in what they do. And so you can go to the cinema these days and watch a really uncomfortable scene like rape, abuse, murder, and you could sit there without batting an eyelid or flinching because we're so used to seeing it that we're numb to it. So for that, for an artist's point of view, it's quite difficult to challenge people these days. But then paradoxically, we're also hypersensitized because ever since the internet came about, mass media used to be the main source where people got information, right? So newspapers, TV, people used to consume information from those sources. As soon as the internet came about and you have things like Facebook, people have to rely on, well, not people have to, but people rely on their mates for sharing information, or loads of indie media networks get born and you can consume information from everywhere, and suddenly it's not biased. And so mass media saw a massive decline and drop in people consuming it. They panicked, and from the birth of that came like the clickbait generation, right? So you've got
very true,
super evocative language like, you would not believe this, you would not believe your eyes if you saw this. And the dark side of that was that people now try to demand your attention by using super evocative language, and it's like really trivial and mundane things get hypersensitized. So you could have like a celebrity tweeting something a little bit tongue-in-cheek, like nothing worse than you would say to your mate in your living room, and like the media jump on him and he or she will get fucking crucified, like literally torn to pieces, like out to the walls. And I think that people are so impressionable that it then rubs off on them. So when you watch like a YouTube video these days, yeah, and something's maybe a little bit tongue-in-cheek, or something is maybe, or someone's wearing something unfashionable, look in the comment section of everyday people, and it's like a fucking witch hunt. It's like you see thousands and thousands of comments of people being like, this is fucking disgusting, kill yourself. It's like that deep. And as an artist myself, and you probably experienced this as well, it's like you subject yourself to such an amount of criticism to the point where someone will tell you to end your life.
That's crazy. And that is one of the craziest things that this whole being connected on the internet thing is. Some of the things that are not really all that serious, or I mean, it could be something that you're not into or you feel like this person shouldn't have done or said this, and just turn it into you should end your life is wild to me. You see that so regularly now. Like that's like the quickest thing to jump to is like, well, we disagree on this, so you should end your life. It's actually crazy how many people just jump to stuff like that instead of having a natural human debate or just disagreeing and agreeing to disagree. It's just immediately like, well, because we disagree, you shouldn't be here anymore.
Because people are so hypersensitized. So it's like, as an artist now, we have to tread this line between complete sensitization and also complete numbness and apathy to what you're trying to make. And I think that is one of the most challenging things about being an artist today.
That's so, yeah, okay. This man's intelligent for his age. He's definitely intelligent, because that's the way you put that was actually really, really true. Like, we're very desensitized to stuff because there is so much crazy shit out there that you could just click, one click away, watch this, watch that. You see things that you would have never saw in the past. You could watch all sorts of horrible shit that's happening. The news be pushing negativity and negative, horrible shit all the time. So you see it all the time and you do become very desensitized to it. But at the same time, we're in an age where people are very sensitive to things as well, because some of the smallest things that somebody says they get crucified and the cancel culture comes out and people want them to die and to this and that, and they shouldn't be here, and we should ruin their life and take their job from them forever because of this one tweet that happened 20 years ago. Or, I mean, not that Twitter was out 20 years ago, but you know what I'm saying. That's wild, but he's very, very accurate. Very, very accurate. If you guys are watching this on the upload, I'm very curious what you guys think. We're just watching this during a live stream. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. We could definitely continue this discussion in the comments, so leave what you think down below. But I feel like he's spot on. He's spot on. It's the fact that people can say what they want online without getting a smack. That is very true. That is very, very true. This era of I can say all these different things and I'm behind a keyboard, I'm behind a phone, no one ever is going to know who I am. A lot of times I can even be completely anonymous. And even if I'm not, you still can't get to me because I'm all the way over here, and it's very unlikely you're going to come out of your way to come find me or fly to my house or whatever it is. And you know, it's called lame PC sissified culture. The keyboard warrior era is definitely going strong. So that is a big part of it for sure. There's a lot of things that happen online, that get said online, that just don't get said in person. You see it from certain celebrities or people that are really big that may get a lot of negativity at times, but then they'll say, but when I go out in public, in person, like none of these people are saying any of these things to me. It's only people online saying them to me. And it's something that's really interesting. And it's something that gets carried away with things like Twitter, where people are like, you see something trending on Twitter, or you see people talking about something on Twitter, and you're thinking that the entire world feels that way. When in reality, I think Twitter is like 8% of the entire world is on Twitter. So even if everybody on Twitter felt the way that something was being talked about, it's still such a small percentage of everybody in the world. And it's very unlikely that everybody actually feels that way. So there's a lot of shit like that you got to keep in mind, but it's an interesting video. Shout out to my man J Hoop for this one. I'll catch you next video, homie.